The KTM 390 Adventure has been one of the most anticipated motorcycles of recent times. But when it did show up earlier this year, the reception was a little lukewarm. Now don't get us wrong, it is a great bike. But I think it's just that we were expecting a little bit too much from it. And it mainly gets flagged because in many ways, it's a little bit too similar to the road bike that it's based on, the 390 Duke. But is that really the case when it comes to performance? Well, now that we have thoroughly tested the 390 Adventure, this is something that we can compare. Since we're all stuck at home during this lockdown, let's get up to speed about all our favorite motorcycles. And to stay updated about that, do subscribe to ZigWheels and click on that little bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. First, a caveat. The figures we are comparing are between the BS4 Duke and the BS6 Adventure. Now we can't deny the possibility that the BS6 Duke might be marginally slower in performance. So you'll have to take this comparison with a teeny tiny pinch of salt. Now both the 390 Adventure and 390 Duke have the exact same engine in the exact same state of tune. Heck, even the gearbox and final drive ratios are identical. But there are a few important differences. While the rear wheel size is same on both the bikes, 17 inches, the Adventure sports taller profile tires which increases the overall wheel circumference. Now this means lower acceleration figures. On top of that, its on-off-road tires aren't going to give it the same traction of the line. And then the Adventure is a whole 12 kilos heavier than the Duke as well. So of course the Adventure is going to be slower than the Duke when it comes to acceleration. But surprisingly, it's not by a huge margin. It's just 0.14 seconds slower from 0 to 60. And the difference increases to a hair over 0.6 seconds in the run from 0 to 100. When it comes to in-gear acceleration, you will find similar differences as well. In our third gear test, the Duke remains 0.7 seconds ahead of the Adventure. But in our fourth gear test, the Adventure falls over a second behind the Duke. Now we can again blame this on the heavier weight and the larger rear wheel circumference, which makes the overall gearing taller. But while the Duke seems to be at a clear advantage in performance, it's quite the other way around when it comes to fuel efficiency. Firstly, the Adventure we tested is BS6 compliant. Then the larger rear wheel circumference means that for the same road speed, the engine is actually revving lower compared to the Duke. So in the city, the 390 Adventure manages a couple of kilometers per liter more than the Duke. But on the highway, it does almost 5 kmpl better. Now couple that with the tank that's 1 liter larger, and you should get at least 70 to 80 kilometers more range per tank full on the highway when you're touring on the Adventure. But it's possible that the BS6 Duke might just bridge this gap to a certain extent. While the Adventure is running the same brake setup as the Duke both at the front and the rear, we see a difference in braking performance. From 80 kph, the Adventure comes to a stop about 3 meters farther than the Duke. And from 100 kph, that distance increases to about 4.5 meters. Now this is down to the extra weight the ADV's brakes need to deal with, along with its on-off-road Metzeler Tourance tires, which simply don't provide the same level of grip as the Duke's Metzeler Sportec M5s. The KTM 390 Duke is a sharp, engaging and dynamically competent motorcycle that's fun to blitz around corners or even a racetrack. But while it does okay on the highway, it's not the best option for touring. Here's where the 390 Adventure really steps in. It's more spacious for you and your luggage. Its long travel suspension tackles bad roads and mild off-roads pretty well, and it will do the same highway speeds that the Duke will. So that's how you get two bikes that share a lot of similarities but offer very different experiences. But what do you think? Would you be okay to sacrifice some of the Duke's performance for the Adventure's touring ability? Do let us know in the comment section below. And of course, in these trying times, do stay at home, stay safe, and thank you for watching.